Welcome to 20 Years of Icelantic, a podcast miniseries where we bring together the people who built this brand to share the stories, memories, and moments that shaped the last 2 decades. In the fifth and final episode, we sit down with Gen 2, the new wave of Icelantic, to talk about what it's been like stepping into the story, learning from the originals, and shaping what's next for the brand.
Well, welcome Gen 2, as you've been called.
Dubbed.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's funny coming from this side of it. I actually don't know this story really, so I'm curious about where we left off. Was essentially this moment where Icelantic had developed a brand, they've developed a community, they've had their hurdles, and right when we were leaving off, it was kind of this moment in which it had to kind of legitimize and grow. And I'm curious where each of you kind of comes into that story. And maybe
Legitimize.
Yeah.
Super legit.
Maybe we could start with who came first.
I would say if legitimate, we got to go with the guy who's been in the ski industry longer than any of us. Jim Wyker.
Yeah. Ooh. How did I get involved with these guys, huh? Holy shit. Well, I think the vision developed about age 3. I was getting pulled behind the farm tractor by my dad in a field in Ohio, and I said, I want to do this for the rest of my life and then get skiing. So fast forward to high school, after prom, Army recruiter calls me up. What do you want to do with the rest of your life? I want to ski. All right, well, how do I figure that out? So just trying to combine my passion for skiing with trying to survive, just break even. So here I am as a older glorified ski bum still. So yeah, just moved up to Vermont, became a ski bum, worked mountain operations, retail stuff, started getting involved with ski companies along the way, changed from mountain operations to working with manufacturers in the ski industry, having a ball the whole way, learning just all the mentors along the way. I got to thank everybody. You all know who you are out there. And just did that for a long time. And moved to New England, lived there for quite a while. And, grew up in New England and northern Vermont. But then having been all around the world and around the country, I decided I wanted to end up in Colorado skiing because I just like the cold, fresh snow and the sunshine and the pretty girls of Colorado. So made a move, and it was probably the best move I ever made in my life. Along the way, I had some other good jobs, and then I was at a point in my career where thinking what I wanted to do, there's things pulling me different directions, moving different areas, and I just wanted to figure out something in Colorado. And a good old friend that some folks of us know, Keith, C.K. Bowen, and we were talking, and he knew what I was all about, just passionate about people and products and what I do and taking pride in the people I associate with. And along the way, said, have you talked to Icelandic? I said, no. You should really give Annalise and Ben a call. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, all right. And I think he might have done the same thing to them. I think at that time, coming out of Gen 1, so to speak, with all the hilarity, they're like, ooh, maybe we need to step our game up a little bit more and bring some more people on to help this train keep moving. And Keith had asked them if, hey, or they were talking, we were thinking about a sales manager, maybe a year or two, we might need one if this thing keeps going. And I think they said, I think Bowen said, have you talked to Wyker? And they're like, no, who the fuck is this guy? So anyway, we got to meeting. We went down, they had just moved into Golden, I think that summer. Yeah. Went down to the place. I've never been to when they were in down in Denver, but I heard about the whole story, seeing it from afar and just appreciating what they're doing and just cheering them on. But I got a chance to meet him in person. I was really excited. And nice sunny day in Golden on the picnic table outside the garage doors, and we just shot the breeze. And they told me what they were looking for. I told them kind of what I was looking for, and their timing was maybe a year or two. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not in any rush, maybe a year or two, just good to get to meet. And I think by the end of that conversation, it was just like, let's just do it. So we're like, all right, well, when do you want to start? I mean, I'm pretty flexible. And they're like, well, we're going sailing. We're going to be in, I don't know where you guys are going, to Thailand with Ashley or something. I'm like, sweet. I like you guys even more now. And yeah, there's like, oh, well, maybe when we get back from the sailing trip in late October or November, we'll get it going. And that's kind of how it started. And I couldn't be more pleased because I'm just working with a group of people with products in a location that it's just, you know, I'm getting all goosebumps, pinch myself. Yeah.
What role were you brought in?
I'm a global sales manager. Yeah. So basically brought in to just, I mean, these guys are dealing with so much stuff and they're growing, but sales reps it's goat rodeo. You know, it's herding cats, the whole 9 yards. And so they needed somebody to kind of be the go-between between sales reps and the independent sales territories out there and our international distributors so that they could focus on what they needed to focus on. Annalise wanted to be CEO, focus on. Ben had product and brand stuff, and just there's a lot of stuff going on. And
meanwhile, our sales manager was the guy who runs the program, the Ashley Hart program, which we're still not sure what that is. So we needed somebody to actually run the sales rep program.
Yeah.
So we brought in the international sales director, global sales manager.
The cool thing is they say, well, we've got this guy from Colorado and Utah. I'm like, sweet. That's half the battle right there. And met Ashley, and it's just like, all right, this is going to totally work. And it was a mesh. So, yeah.
He also has his name on our most prestigious award, the Wyker Award.
Yeah, which we give out every year at the team retreats. Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Yeah,
it's a great honor to win a Wyker.
And whoever wins the most recent Wyker has to give it on to the next Wyker Award winner. I think our most recent winner is Travis Parr. Let's go. Yeah.
The two most honored, I guess that is probably one of the most coveted awards I've ever won in my life. The other was when I was ski patrolling up in Vermont. I had the Jaeger-Nilla Award, which the guys who know what I'm talking about know about it. But I think it might be in the corner of Chez Henri behind a booth somewhere. I don't know. The trophy.
Who came next?
I will, not me, but I just wanted to say that I look up to Jim a lot as kind of just like OG ski industry, little East Coast flair, like East Coast roots, and just through and through ski industry.
Sometimes you forget that he's from the East Coast, though, until it comes out. Somebody hit my car one time, and I'll never forget Jim going full East Coast. And I was like, Jim, we're okay. It's going to be okay. And he was ready to throw fists.
The F-bombs.
Need a guy like that.
They were flying.
Take the kid out of the East, can't take the East out of the kid sometimes. But no, I think that was part of the fun, is because these guys had such a cool experience. And Scotty and everybody, and Travis with the art. But yeah, I thought I could bring something with just having just known some other people. I mean, I still consider myself a young guy in the ski industry. I think I kind of am still. There's so many mentors out there and so many cool people, but you know, the shops I've worked with, the reps I've worked with, the brands I've worked with, the places I've gone, the things I've seen. It's incredible. It's just to be able to bring that and try to bring that into this organization the best I can in my own style is like it's just tickle pink. It's really fun, and I still have a ton to learn. I mean, I still stub my toe every day. You guys know that, but it's a ball. It's a real ball.
I think when we say we were searching for legitimacy too, like he worked for a small startup called Look Lang Dina Star for a long time. Yeah,
It's
so
a small little brand.
yeah, that's where our legitimacy came from. I think on the sales side of things.
Yeah, and a lot of those guys are still doing it. Yeah, and and a lot of other good brands on the way. It was a lot of European brands. The ski industry was based on it. It was really cool. The traveling and meeting the people and the products, just incredible. And to see what Ben and Parr and Annalise and everybody in Gen 1 did to develop this brand, to bring it to where it was when I walked in, it was like, dude, this is kind of slam dunk. These guys got it all dialed. Like, Ben had really dialed in the line. I said, okay, we got to work on sales programs and this and that. And we talked about some stuff. He's like, he's got it. And I think it's one of the main things I remember about that interview is that to close a deal is, Ben, I like everything about this. We've got a good sales program. The line's easy. It's really cool. There's great stuff for everybody. But I need a pair of those 109 Pioneers and a 190, and you don't have any long skis because he's very well sure. I was the tallest, biggest. I think they brought me in just because they didn't want somebody.
It was a brand for short people. Yeah, it was a brand.
So I just say,
We
hey,
need
if
some
you can give me a
product
pair of
testing.
190 and those Pioneer 190s, it's a done deal. Let's shake on it.
Me and I were making 166 109s for Scotty.
The average company height at the time was probably 5.
Yeah, you really brought up the
4.
median. Yeah.
That ski still rips, man. I love that ski. Yeah. So, yeah. But then we kept growing and needed more and more people and more help.
And then came.
And I was next. Yeah. Young John. Yeah, that's a good question. I'm still trying to answer that question.
Other than everything, nothing.
Yeah, but I came in eyes wide open. He went back to when he was 3. I probably go back to when I'm like just about to graduate college. I was working for the X Games. That was cool, except for then the X Games in Austin broke up. So yeah, I'm a kid in Austin. How did I end up at a ski company? I remember texting an acquaintance from high school, one Allie Dennington, and just being like, hey, how in the world did you intern at this little ski company that's got eyes all over their skis, eyeballs, and she like lets me know. I was like, seems like they do some really cool experiential marketing stuff. I'm into that. And they're based out of Denver. I want to move back to Colorado. And so she hits me up. She's like, hey, I was just an intern there. Longer story for another time. And then she was like, but she emailed this guy named Kian. So kid graduating college from Austin, Texas, saying, hey, Kian, I want a job at Icelantic. That email never got answered, which I now understand as to why. But I was like, you know what? I'm still gonna move to Denver. Like I want to move back to Denver. I want to work in the ski industry. My goal is to work at this tiny little ski company with eyeballs on their skis, which is ironic given how much I have a deep disdain for the eyeball skis nowadays. But that was the year. This is like 2015. And that was out there the previous year.
Attention grabbers.
They grab attention all the
Right
ways.
ways.
Yeah, all the ways. And so I moved up here, took a job at the big old REI downtown, and I was like, all right, working skis. I'm gonna sell skis. And I remember, I think I'm on the job for like 3 or 4 days, and I'm selling a pair of like the OG Icelantic Pioneers. And I remember a guy behind me goes, just staring me down as I sell a pair of skis. And he's just like, nice, dude, those skis rip. And I was like, thanks, man. He's wearing an Icelantic hat. And it was Devin O'Connor, twin brother of the Kian we're talking about. Next day, I'm selling another pair of skis. This guy comes behind me, and he's like, dude. And I was selling a pair of the Pioneers again. He's like, nice work, dude. Gives me a fist bump. And that was my only interaction ever with Gary Wyman.
That's cool.
Which is pretty wild.
Cool.
Yeah, because years later, I finally started working here, and I knew of Gary, the legend that is Gary. So I'm working at REI. I'm mountain biking, I'm skiing, I'm doing all the things, and then as my injury-prone nature happens, I shattered my teeth. I shattered my teeth, my 2 front teeth.
I knew
It's
there
all
was
I
dental
wanted for
work in this
Christmas.
story.
Yeah, and so I'm like,
Always
oh
an
no.
injury.
So I go to the dentist behind the new Golden offices, and they kind of temporarily patch up my teeth so I can go into public and not look like an idiot. And I was like, dude, Icelantic is right there. This is why I'm here.
Got these brand new teeth.
Yeah, I got these pearly
Ready
whites
to go.
made of plastic. And so I walk in, and the only person working there that day, because they didn't have a retail manager yet. The Icelandic did not have a retail manager yet. So Ashley Hart is working his only retail session ever. And I had met Ashley briefly at REI because I was slanging Icelantic. So I was boofing deals. Like, I got to sell Icelantics because then they'll know who I am, which is a pipe dream. But he knew who I was. He's like, you work at REI? I was like, I do. And he's like, we're doing Retail Appreciation Day. We're doing free pizza, free beer, float in the river. I was like, who says no to those things? So I grabbed some friends who aren't working at REI. I was like, Retail Appreciation Day, come at Icelantic, make me look like I'm cool. Like I have friends. So I show up, and I go to the river, meet everybody, including Ben. I met Anna. I met the Kian that never responded to my email. And so and we have a great day. And I'm hanging out with Ben. We're tubing the river, and he's like, dude, gotta come to our golf tournament next week. So I'm expecting like this serious golf tournament. I don't really golf.
But you were ready.
But I was ready. I was mentally prepared. So I get my most socially adept team and be like, hey, I don't know what we're walking into. Show up, Icy Open happens. It's awesome. I'm like, okay, they know who I am. That's a win. And so I hit up Ashley. I'm like, hey, Ashley, love to grab beer sometime. I need a job. He's like, how about you come help us tune our skis? Enter Jim, I have no idea how to mount bindings. I work on the sales floor. They don't let me work in the shop at REI because I'm a sales guy. And I ended up mounting the whole demo fleet, detuning the whole demo fleet, waxing the whole demo fleet on all my off days, just like on a really jerry-rigged setup in the office, crushing ICPA every day. Thank you, Oscar Blues. I can no longer drink that beer.
A lot of bathroom tips.
And so I'm trying to earn my way into Icelantic, all my days off, just like doing this thing I've never done. Then they're like, hey, Julian's about to win some powder awards. If you don't know what powder awards are, they're like the Emmys for skiing, really niche. And so I'm like, all right, I'll go to Breckenridge for this powder awards thing. But it's also like the first powder day of the year. So I go up, I go skiing, pal with some friends in Vail. Long story short, ran into a tree with my head, broke my back.
I don't think I realized that you broke your back.
Yeah, broke my back.
Multiple injury stories.
Yeah. It just took a couple broken teeth and a broken back, but I got my foot in the door. No broken feet. And so I'm like, okay, I got a rally tonight though. Powder awards. Not really sure what that means, but I got a rally. And so end up in Silverthorne. I walk in, I remember going, hey guys, I'm like hunched over. And I was like, yeah, it took a little bit of a digger today. I'm like, okay. Watch Julian win his award. I'm 22 or 23 at the time. And afterwards, there's the free skier after party. Ignorance is, I don't know, maybe naivety is bliss. I didn't realize that adults partied the way that they did until the free skier after party. And I remember walking into the free skier after party with Ashley and Scotty and Ben and Mark Morris and Julian and one of our Japanese athletes who didn't really speak English, and walked in and I was like, okay, we're partying tonight. This is an absolute rager. And it's like all my ski heroes. Candide's there, Sammy Carlson's there, Sean Pettit's there. And I'm like, I can't just get, I'm not gonna follow Ashley around all night. I gotta go make a name for myself out here. I gotta go be social, so I'm hanging around. And I remember Scotty looking at me and goes, get on the dance floor. And I'm like, okay, I gotta go dance. Remember, I've broken my back. And so I go out there and I'm like doing this thing with like ski hero Michelle Parker. I'm like, I gotta keep this going. I gotta show face. I gotta earn this. It was the worst move I could do. It hurt so bad. But I kept it going. Eventually, time to go home. We catch the last Uber out of Breckenridge. I already am like, everybody's hammered. I've got to be a responsible guy, which has then bled into my role for the most part at Icelantic.
You're really good at being responsible.
Yeah, which is not my role in the rest of life. And so I remember we had to get the last Uber out of Breckenridge. We get back to Frisco. Ashley loses his phone in the thing. I got to get the Uber back. And then I'm like, okay, I got the Uber. I got Ashley's phone back. We got everything. Everybody's ready to go to bed. False. Not going to bed. We're staying up all night. So I'm hanging out in the kitchen with John Mueller and Scotty Vimeris and Ian Foreman, Travis St. George for hours. Actually, I don't know. Yeah. And then I remember Ben walking in and goes, morning, guys. We're like, oh, no. And that's where Ashley always told me, that's where I earned my stripes. And so then for the next year, I'm like trying to earn this job, but there's no job openings. And I was like, dang it. Maybe I'm going to give up on this whole ski bum, go work in the ski industry dream. And I'm on Moab mountain biking with a bunch of people from REI, and there's non-compete. I'm not allowed to get paid by Icelantic. And Ashley calls me. I'm like, it's September. What does Ashley need before in September? So I denied the call. And he's like, I need 2 seconds. I was like, okay, this seems important. And he calls me. He was like, hey, Ben and I want to interview you for ops. And I'm like, I'm in. I'll be there. And I remember entering that interview. I was like, okay, these are friends kind of at this point. I know these people. I don't need to be super serious, but I need to be ready for this. And then I realized these guys know everybody in the state. It's going to be competitive. I got to be ready. I got to be on it. And then midway through that conversation, I'm like, I'm the only person they called. They're going to offer me this job right now. I didn't negotiate or anything. I was like, yes, yeah, I'm in.
You had a full suit on.
Yeah, I did not. Yeah, I couldn't afford a suit at the time. And then, they were like, I've never done ops in my life. And that was like drinking from the fire hose and spitting out on the fire. I remember texting a friend one time, just being like, hey, this feels like I've procrastinated on a project that's due tomorrow, but I'm not the one who procrastinated. So I'm up late at the office just trying to figure it out all the time. But I loved it. It was like, and from there, it's kind of been like, hey, here's ops. And then I was like, hey, I need support in ops. So we brought somebody on to customer. We brought Cody Potter on to customer service, who was there for longer than I was. And he was super helpful for a while. And then I was like, hey, ops is great. I need a little more support. So we brought in Sean. And then as we brought in, every time I delegated out responsibility, it was kind of like, well, you're going to take on more. And so at this point, I'm still doing mostly ops, which is, I don't know, a lot of things. And then also doing the product development, because I have really strong opinions about the product.
You've stepped into a massive role in product development. And I really remember we went out for a beer after lunch one day, it was a lunch beer or work beer or whatever. And
we would never.
I know, we would never. We were talking just about our roles and our evolution and everything like that. And I remember you saying, I kind of just want more. I kind of want to be doing more. And that's when you started talking about wanting to have this role of developing skis and having a piece in that. And I was like, John, go for it. Like, absolutely. Like, you have the knowledge, you have the passion, you have the intention. Start, put your foot in the door.
Knowledge is a strong statement. It was a lot of self-teaching from there.
Yeah, self-teaching. Yeah, including you like teaching yourself CAD in bed at 6 p.m. But yeah, anyways, I had to chime in there because I feel like there was a clear point where you were like, I want to be doing more, and that's really when you started getting into more of the product design, and that was cool to watch.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing now, which has been on top of still kind of the day-to-day operation side of things, which has been a lot of fun.
That's an understatement. You are the glue guy here.
Yeah.
You keep things
Glue.
running. Everyone's super important, but you keep things together.
I do my best. It's kind of like
Yeah.
putting glue where it needs to
I
be.
know it doesn't feel
temporarily.
like that maybe internally, but for the rest of us, that's what it feels
I've
like.
always said John's the guy you want on your team.
I'm on Scotty's space team, which is my greatest honor.
I think everyone has you on speed dial.
But speaking of glue, then we had every end of the month.
Speaking of
Me and Anna would chat about all these different transactions that didn't make sense. It was our least favorite thing. And that's all I really knew about.
You're skipping Hanna.
Oh yeah, there was Hanna. Yeah. No, Hanna was before Ryan because Hanna worked for an agency.
We don't need you anymore.
And my only interactions with Hanna were at the agency where she was awesome. We had a few meetings there. We talked about Crocs too much. It was great. But then we were like, we're gonna move on from the agency. And I remember seeing Hanna at SIA. I was like, oh, well, Hanna's here. I'm gonna be super friendly to her. Hanna was not super friendly back because you were upset that we were moving on from the agency and you were here to bulldog your way into a role at the company. And I was like, okay. She goes, I want it. I am your person. Don't go find somebody else, which she did.
Yeah, that's a great segue. I feel like there was a time. Let me back up a little bit. When I first came to Colorado, I had no idea what powder skiing was. I grew up on the East Coast. I came here with little 85 millimeter underfoot, just like tiny skis. I skied one powder day at a basin that snowed 20 inches overnight with all these college buddies. And I couldn't ski on these tiny skis. I didn't know what powder was. And then that night I got home and I had heard about this company, Icelantic. They had this super cool thing going for them. They were this really Colorado proud brand. And they had this badass female CEO, Anna, who, when I found out that Anna was this woman running the company, I remember Googling her and reading all the articles and all the press that had come out about Anna. And I was like, damn, this company is rad, And so I went on Craigslist because I was a college kid, I had a budget, and I found the Nomad RKRs, the ribbon year for
Classic.
I don't know.
Everybody's got the ribbon
It was
year.
$180 with bindings. I was like, great. Picked them up, skied them for the next 2 seasons, loved them. And so college came, I did marketing, I did some PR, I did some journalism, and I knew when I graduated that I wanted to be in the outdoor industry because I had grown through college through the ski club that I ran, and I I loved it. I loved being a part of the outdoor industry. I loved how friendly people were, how genuine people were. And so I knew that was going to be the end goal, but I really needed experience. So I started seeking out digital marketing agencies. And there's a ton of them between, Denver, Boulder, this area. There's so many. And I found one, and Icelantic Skis was their client. And it was this small agency out of Boulder. I interviewed. In my interview, I was very clear. I said, if I get hired, if I were so lucky to get hired by you guys, I want to be on the Icelantic account. And I ended up getting the position, and I was the account manager for Icelantic for 2 years. And it was great. The agency life is tough. There's a lot of pros and cons in agency hours and structure and egos and all of that. But I'm really grateful for my time at the agency because I feel like I learned an immense amount in 2 years. But then, kind of circling back to how John started this story, there was a point where I could kind of feel Icelantic starting to pull away, and I had, at this point, what I thought, and I think were really awesome relationships with Ben and with Anna and with everybody, with Par. They had invited me on their team retreats, and they had invited me to go skiing. And, I felt so passionate about this brand. By far my favorite client at the agency. That was, it goes without saying. And I could start to feel like maybe, they're starting to question their hours with the agency and like the value. And it's like, I think they're pulling away. And I technically had some signed legal paperwork with the agency, but I kind of was just like, whatever, I'm just going to at least start to have a conversation with these guys. And so there was the SIA, the trade show that we've talked about a lot, that I went up to Ben mid-trade show, and I was there still working for the agency, and I said, Ben, I think you guys are maybe starting to pull away, and that's cool, no hard feelings, but if you're starting to look for somebody to hire me. Like, please hire me. And I'm not going to be the oldest person in the room. I'm not going to have the most years on my belt. I'm not.
We already got
Leave that to the sales team.
No, but I was young. I was 23 at the time, 24, and I was like, I'm not going to replace an agency. I'm not going to be, the loudest voice right away. But I am so passionate about what you guys do and have so much respect for what you guys do that I will work my ass off for you guys. And hearing all of our stories of this Gen 2 kind of coming into the fold and how we've all kind of paved our way in has been really fun, because I feel like there was so much that everybody admired. I admired about this foundation of a company that was built by.
Is that past tense? Like you don't admire it?
No.
It was great those days.
Yeah.
No, that I still admire. But there's just like so much. What's the word?
This is kind of your job.
I know. I know. I'm not on camera that often. No, but there was just so much that I admired and looked up to with the brand Icelantic, and so I really, really wanted to be able to help, or to come in and help continue that story and take everything I had learned at the agency and start, doing it as my only thing instead of working for 20 brands. I wanted to work for this brand and give it 100%.
And what that meant is you got to work with Ben Anderson right over your shoulder. Just, like, what do we think about this marketing plan? I've got a story to tell. Yeah. Let me tell you about how we're going to tell the story.
And John's heard my sometimes when I'm like, God damn. Ben is texting me about the font size again.
At
and
midnight.
I'm gonna lose it. No.
I did tell you though, day one, I was like, my job's boring. Ben does not want to deal with my job. He just kind of was like, John, you go do that. And with your job, he is going to be, we were at Cafe 13,
Yep.
he is going to be looking over your shoulder every day. So just be ready for that.
That's funny how he's like, okay, Jim, you deal with the sales. You and Ashley deal with the sales.
Yeah.
So I can go get this brand and marketing and work on
gonna
it.
tell the story.
Like, John, you do your thing. Jim, you do your thing. And I'm just going to pound me and Hanna. I'm just going to take Hanna and we're going to shoot the moon.
Yeah. And when I first came on, I remember how it went. We had kind of this quasi phone interview that was more, it was not an interview, it was more a rundown of a list of what Ben and Anna were gonna need me to do. You're gonna have to do emails, you're gonna have to do social media, like, going through all of it. And I was like, okay, great. Again, I am one person, I'm not an agency. I want that to be clear.
Was your job description like 5 lines on a Microsoft Word document as well that you found open on Ben's computer 8 months later? 'Cause that's what mine was.
That was what yours was. I don't even think I had a formal job description, but I could show you the initial notes in my moleskin that were just scribbled because they were just talking a million miles an hour. Like, okay, so yeah, and then we have to figure out what we're going to do with our email list, and then we have to figure out our website. Do we need a redesign? And I was like, redesign website, email strategy, just
Complete
like,
website redesign.
Contracts for me too. That was nice.
Yeah. There was a lot that I came into, and working with Ben, who clearly had, Ben's the brain of Icelantic. He is the OG person of Icelantic, and obviously he's gonna care the most about how the brand is perceived and the messaging that goes out. And so it all made sense, does it still sometimes like drive me a little bit crazy? No, never.
Yes.
But watching that evolution has been awesome to watch. Your two partnership and you finding more voice and the trust and everything. It's been really cool to watch. And I know he still drives you crazy, and he will always still drive you crazy. But it's been cool watching.
It's
watch
been
that
really,
happen.
it's been a fun evolution with my job because I really feel like in the past couple years is when I've found my inner confidence and leadership in
Your
my
voice.
role. And the first few years was kind of timid and I don't know. Yeah.
Your confidence is, that's really it.
You're the director now.
At first you're coming in and, thankfully being respectful and stuff, whatever, that's great, but nervous, but to see your growth from afar, from my distance and seeing what you've done the first year, second year, third year, just like, it's just rocket ship. So it's really cool to see.
How long
And
has
it's just
it been
going to keep going.
It's about April will be 6 years.
Yeah.
Is it 9 years?
9 selling seasons now, yeah.
I'm on 8.
Yeah. Plus 2, 6 plus 2 at the agency for me. So, yeah. Add them up. No, but it's, and I think I came in at a really fun time. I think as being part of this Gen 2, John was also new, Jim was also new. We were clearly kind of in this, it was before kind of a bigger transition that I think we've seen more recently with Ben moving to Montana and, Gen 1 all having babies and everything. But
All at the same time.
But it was before that, I think there was this kind of Gen 2 intro. And Ryan was a big part of that. Ryan, I remember when we had our first, it was a company retreat in April. And maybe still.
Was that Georgetown?
Yeah, it was
Georgetown.
It was Georgetown.
You weren't there. You weren't in Colorado yet. You zoomed in.
Yeah.
We put you on the
Yeah.
TV screen.
It was a
in the
video.
living room.
It was a video. It wasn't even a
No,
Zoom. It was a
They asked me to
pre-recorded
record a
video.
Oh, it was a
It was
pre-recorded
1 degree
video.
Celsius on that day too. I remember.
Yeah, 'cause we were
getting
in
a
whitewater
screenshot of
rafting.
that. It was like, this is too much.
In June.
Bears walking through the yard.
But
Ryan on the TV.
Ryan coming in and owning the financials of this company and being able to just truly be an expert in
A much needed
our,
expert.
our line sheets and our budget and our forecasting. God, I don't know where we would be right now without Ryan. So Yeah, I don't know. That's your intro.
All we
Ryan.
knew about
That's pretty good.
all we knew about Ryan for the first
first-
few months though is that he had eaten an asinine amount of
yeah.
tacos from Taco Bell at one point.
Yeah, I did. That was like part of my.
It was his
intro
only
video.
fun fact.
It was like you were like Anna said, like, put something fun. What's a fun fact about you? Well, I once ate 15 tacos in an hour. In one sitting. Yeah. So
That's a lot of tacos.
So that was good.
You can tell.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. So I was living in Maryland, and me and my family were looking to move out west. I had just read an article. I also have an Anna story as part of mine. I just read an article that she had written in REI, or interview in REI, that had her email at the end.
It's about The Rock.
I can't even remember what the article was, but I remember this company sounds cool. So I cold emailed and I said, do you need someone to do the finances? Do you need a nerd on the team? And you actually, and so this is the part of the story that always amazes me, and Anna has so many amazing qualities. I wouldn't say responding to email is like at the top of that list. So the fact that I actually got like
in the third, yeah.
So the timing was perfect in a way that Icelantic was starting. They had an agency as well as just like marketing, and had started to just look for a way to move away from that. And I came out for vacation first and sat down with Ben and Anna, similar to Jim, and shot the breeze. And you weren't quite ready. Well, Icelantic wasn't quite ready. They wanted to do revenue facing first. Hired their first, no, not quite. They fired their first retail manager first, I think. I mean,
Fired?
no,
Hired.
hired, yeah. And then Hanna, and but then we just stayed in touch. I did move out to Colorado, and we stayed in touch, and eventually 2 months after I started, and been here ever since. I also have a John injury story with my start. The first day I started, I came in and you were in a sling and typing like this. You had just gotten off of, you had broken your elbow.
Yeah, my
mountain biking in Vancouver or Whistler, and had to ride the whole way in like a sling.
Yeah, and shattered my phone. And a second trip in a row with a shattered phone.
Little did I know, getting people new phones would be a running theme. With some
Shout out to Scotty Bamaris.
Yeah, Scotty and Ashley, lots of
too.
sunken phones that I have recovered.
Anna found my phone at the bottom of the ocean one time.
Yeah, but it was dumb.
Yeah, but it was still exciting.
But it was still exciting. It was a win.
I too had a Word document job description. Anna's original title for me, which I wish I just would have accepted, was the regulator.
Yeah,
That would have been perfect.
Yeah.
I did not know how much HR I would be doing, and so I do that sometimes too. Yeah, official inter-office relationship manager. And
Cough, cough, Sean and Amanda.
things like that. Yeah, it's been good.
Underselling.
Underselling for sure.
Underselling yourself. Anna has once said, the single most important hire we ever made is Ryan Scully.
Yeah.
For sure. Mm-hmm. Looking at all of you, I'm like, what the fuck did we do before?
We're so good looking.
You're so much better than.
Oh no! Man down!
For our listeners tuning in, what just happened was we're recording this all in one big living room right now, and Ashley just ate shit and broke a chair.
He broke every limb off the chair and the back. And then was just, and then just was stuck there with his feet in the air and didn't move.
Presumably we're going to segue into Sean.
I can segue, Sean.
Well, I want to say one thing about Ryan and about all of you, which is where that comment came from. I'm literally like, what did we do? Ashley said, showed us. But I remember on your job description or when we hired you. No, it was I think on your offer letter or whatever. Mm-hmm. I remember very clearly writing, "You're responsible for the financial health of our company."
Yeah.
No big deal. No big
Mic
deal.
drop.
Yeah.
And you have been. And now I look at all of you though, and it's the same thing. Like, and it's kind of how Icelantic was built initially. Like, okay, yeah, you want that job, you take it, go do it, And So you're all living up to this.
Mine said turn the gray trucks on Bright Pearl green. I was like, okay, I'll turn the gray trucks green. Which is now what Sean does, for whatever it's worth.
True.
And that's why we're wearing matching green
And
shirts.
that's-
Yes. The ops team
team.
sticks together. Yeah.
You guys go.
But that came later.
Yeah, that's.
That
That's
came
true. It
later.
was not his initial job.
Yeah.
First, he had to turn the company green.
Oh. What a segue.
It's a good one.
Yeah, that's basically how it started. I heard about Icelantic in kind of a similar like happenstance way of after college didn't know what I wanted to do in life, so I was just a ski bum. I was teaching skiing up at Arapahoe Basin, and there was a raffle to win a pair of Icelantic Shamans, 163. Yeah, 163 Shamans, and I was like, what are these? Like, I had no idea. I was riding some, like...
161s.
161s. Yeah, there we go.
OG Shamans.
Yeah, with the Colorado Ski Country top sheet that you were using as giveaway in raffle skis. And I won, and I was so stoked, and immediately got them mounted up and was riding them like every powder day we got for the rest of that season, and was like, there's some sauce in these. There's some special sauce in these. And I was totally obsessed. I went on to get my master's degree at CU and bought my first pair of Pioneers. And I ended up working at Vail for a while and like would not shut up about these skis to like all my friends.
Classic shaman guy.
Yeah, big shaman guy. Yeah, big shaman guy.
Big shaman energy.
Yeah. And basically graduated or was like about to graduate, and I cold emailed info@icelanticskis.com. Now I run that, which is so funny. Very full circle. And thankfully my email got forwarded on Hanna, and we went and got...
Yeah, 2 for 2.
It took...
That was she hadn't responded to an email since my email.
Yeah, it took like a couple months. Yeah. But finally, I had my opportunity at an Annalise vetting session, as we talked about earlier. And obviously, I passed the vibe. And similarly to Jim and Ryan, they were like, yeah, later. We'll talk about getting the company B Corps certified, which was something that I was working on in grad school. And I was like, great, I'm gonna graduate. I'm gonna keep pestering them. And so I would go to like every event you had. I went to the Outdoor Retailer show and snuck in on a fake badge, and that's where
we did a lot of that. We did a lot of
the sneaking into that show, and that's where I met Ben. And I'm pretty sure I talked to Jim for a little bit, and I heard Ashley. And
he was downstairs.
Yeah, he was in the back making deals, and I could hear it over the wall.
He had the briefcase open.
Yeah. And I was like, this is great. I want to be a part of this. And so then every time, like, after skiing, because I graduated and had no job and no job prospects, and like after skiing, I would come down and stop at the Golden Store, and I'd like come in and I'd like just bug John, and he'd be like on his laptop just working.
I was kind.
Oh yeah, you were very nice.
I was just not giving you that much time.
Yeah. Who the hell was I though? You know, and just some guy. And then the world shut down. COVID happened. That was like 2020, and I was like, all bets are off on this Icelantic thing. I was expecting never to hear from anybody again. And then one day in like May 2020, I'm sitting unemployed at my parents' house, and get an email from Annalise 6 months later from our first meeting, and she's like, actually, now is the time. And I was like, oh, not what I was expecting, but now is the time. And she was like, I don't have a role for you really, but I want you to look into B Corps certification for you, and we're gonna pay you by working retail for us at the Golden Store.
I forgot about the retail session.
Yeah.
You did?
That was like...
I generally do.
I would work Thursdays
Yeah.
and one weekend day, and then I'd come in like on Tuesdays and like do B Corps and just like hang out and just get to know the brand basically. And I would see John working like from before I got there at 11, like till way after 7 p.m. And I think it just kind of slowly snowballed into me asking him, like, do you need help with anything? Yeah. Like, you seem stressed. Like, you know, I'm like generally capable. And do you need help with the operations side of the company? And then about a year of working retail, then I came in still part-time for about another year. And then he hired me on full-time. And then I've just kind of like learned and
Before he
absorbed.
came on, like for Ops Help though, I was co-signing him to Ops Help. Like, hey, I
like
need
during
you
the
to do
day.
some of this stuff. Or like, hey, Cody's out today. I need you to be on this. Hey, I don't have time to fill orders.
You want to make those green trucks?
Yeah, you want to turn those trucks green?
Yeah, exactly.
You got it.
And I could do it. I learned really quickly. Everything that he had learned really quickly. And we've been a good team. And now I'm the wearer of hats, and I don't know. And green shirts. And
turning trucks green.
Turning trucks green.
And the company green.
We got our B Corps certification after like 2 years of me being there. That was rad.
And recerting right now.
And have kept it.
Yeah, and kept it. We're recertifying right now. The great thing about that process was that Ben and Annalise had done a really good job at like basically setting up a company to be a B Corps, but nobody was writing anything down or like keeping policies or like keeping track of any of that stuff. So I generally had like a pretty
still kind of
easy flow into it. I just had to like actually take charge of keeping these metrics.
You just had to create our first employee manual.
Yep. First employee
I still owe
handbook,
you a job description.
Policies, yeah. Everybody owes me a job description. I ended up making actual job descriptions for everybody here.
Can we read them?
Oh yeah, if you want
That'd be
to.
fun.
I don't know if you have one because I didn't. Because at the time, at the time, I don't know if you were like full-time employee. I think you were just like athlete at that when I first started.
Do you work here?
Yeah. She's just athlete.
Scotty, you're not a joke.
And now we've worked our way up to working with Hanna a lot on like the customer experience side of things. I'm running
dealer services, customer services, some of the distribution. The most valuable asset in our company is your car.
Is my car.
Yeah, it's the car that did transport inventory from the warehouse right by his
savings.
conveniently placed home to the office.
Yeah.
Big mover.
So it's been awesome. It's been really great.
There's 2 men in a truck and there's 1 man in his car.
Yeah. I don't know. It's been absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
huge.
I think one thing, I don't know if like the first parts of this chat have talked about is the move to Golden. And what that looked like. I mean, 9 years ago?
Still looks like. Still changing.
Continuously evolving. But, Sean, it's funny, like a lot of people's intro into their role with the company has been through retail. There was Cody, there was somebody else that I'm thinking of, not Sean.
Cassie, Travis St. George.
Travis, right.
Cassie's intro with brand was way before that, though. But that's how he started working for us full time. He did that for years. And then he hired Amanda.
There we go.
Which I want to say I was not responsible for. Cassidy hired Amanda.
Hired Cassie.
Yeah, it's a great hire. Love it.
Change lives.
So entered Amanda. And I was like, oh, this is a problem. But she's done a great job. And she has since become basically our retail manager over the last 2 years.
And is absolutely crushing it.
Crushing.
Yeah.
Well, it's before you go, like just the Golden HQ and storefront is really, I feel like, the bread and butter of what we know. None of us worked the Santa Fe or the
First
Battery
Fridays.
or the First Fridays. We never really saw that Gen 1 side. And so Golden HQ is definitely like a core piece of what threads us together. And all of us together now, because we've all spent time there and have parties there now and everything. But it's definitely, And Amanda's.
It's your turn, And you're the one who is now the brand front at the store. People walk in and there's Amanda, smiling at them, asking them the same question.
Yes.
Yeah, wait, how did you find Cassidy?
Growing up in Conifer, I knew of Icelantic. just because it was from the town over, from where I grew up. And then moved to California for a little bit, decided to come back to Colorado because I missed Colorado. And I was looking for a fun job that would introduce me to people, that would make me excited to do things that I was passionate about. And I stumbled upon Icelantic. And then I met Cassidy, who was an old retail manager. And he interviewed me day after I applied. And then he hired me on that day. Didn't tell anybody else that he hired me. So I showed up.
Yeah.
I showed up for my first day of work, and everybody was like, "Who are you?"
It was
I was there during your interview.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Ryan
you were.
did, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you did not mention she was hiring
Yeah.
you, so you were also.
Well, I knew it might be a
HR knew.
problem. So I didn't tell you. I told everyone else, John.
But yeah, he hired me as just a very part-time retail associate. And then he ended up leaving the company, so then I kind of stepped into his role a little bit more. And yeah, we're going on my 3rd year of working there.
Are we already at 3 years? Or going on 3 years?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's been great ever since.
Yeah, it's turned that space into like just a reliable source of like customer interaction and literally revenue increase. And you and I are like such a solid team on the inventory side of things that we run a tight ship, which is it's been great to have you.
And you've grown retail. You know, in a
time where the ski industry is shrinking.
Right,
Yeah,
and being a retail shop, a ski shop in a tourist town can be tough. And you've grown retail and made it also just like very community oriented. Thank you. Community oriented place, and it's really cool. And you've helped me a lot with social media. Now we have a TikTok.
Yeah, go follow the TikTok. Yeah. TikTok.
We're finally
Into
just
the
a
next
few
generation,
years later, and maybe right before TikTok goes away again.
Yeah.
But we have one,
Yeah.
and we're relevant.
We have almost 1,000 followers.
Oh man, we
We're
are.
getting there.
Yeah, nice.
The moon's the limit.
What are your wildest dreams for 10 years from now where Icelantic will be?
Thanks, man in the back.
Yeah.
Hopefully we have a few more chairs.
Yeah.
I also,
Wild.
I'm just gonna throw another question in too. I just want to hear some like stories that have happened, that the parents haven't seen maybe. If there's any fun
John just got
John
looking.
and I from the first 6 months.
So let's
Oh,
talk
no,
about
no,
these two.
Yeah.
Well, we were just
Our
talking
parents
about.
know we're dating, okay?
Yeah.
We're
That's new.
cute.
These parents, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Well, what's funny is I feel like we heard a lot of stories about the Gen 1 dating stories and random, I don't know, just crazy debauchery. And I always said I kind of wish I could live as a fly on the wall, or like be at my age now when they were Gen 1 at the Battery. Like I wish I could experience the first Fridays and like everything. I don't think like
jail time.
I don't think I wish I had done it with you guys. Like I'm grateful I came into the fold where I'm at, and I like that, but I just wish I could immerse myself in that culture.
Yeah, it sounds like a wild time.
Yeah.
Right.
Just taking a picture.
I don't need to be in jail with you guys. I just want to watch it.
Well, I'm curious, like in the Gen 1 conversation, a big part of the whole theme was that these friendships bubbled into a larger community, then that bubbled into a bigger Colorado-based community, and then you all came. And I'm curious, like Anna, you were talking about moving to Golden and how that's HQ now. I'm curious, in that sort of formula that they've started the company in, how, now that we know your roles, like what does that look like in your experience of holding down the HQ now? And especially now that a lot of them aren't really there. Like what is, I think that I've heard from back here from Anna, from Ben, that,
The old panic time.
They've given you all the same allowance of like, you want to do that? Do it. You know what I mean? But I'm curious that this sort of initial spark and energy that was Gen 1, what does that look like now in Golden and in your experiences of the company?
I think that kind of speaking to my earlier point of this shift that happened, with Gen 1. You know, I forget the exact order that it happened in, but, you know, Anna had a baby and was taking a sabbatical. And Ben ended up wanting to move
Having a baby.
Having a baby and moving to Whitefish.
Well, I think COVID also was.
And COVID,
Pushed everybody apart.
COVID
Yeah.
happened.
Out of the office.
And it totally, I mean, it made us rethink everything of how our company operates. And just like, there was so much shift and change there. In some ways, for me, I think that it kind of took Ben and Anna taking a little bit of a step, not a step back from.
Step away.
Step away, yeah, just as step away for this kind of next phase to happen. You know, at least in my job roles and responsibilities, I feel like I really blossomed as Ben kind of took a step away and started to trust me more. So I don't know, I can't speak for everyone, but I think it's been really fun stepping up to the plate in this new role, or kind of at this elevated level of our roles, and feel like we're owning it and doing it too, you know?
Yeah, I think in the last conversation, there was a lot of talk about acceptance of people, however they come in. And I think that is true for all of us here. We all came from different places before this. For me, I came from, working for large companies and doing one small thing of a bigger thing and being asked to do the whole thing for this company. And it's been that acceptance and trust that's allowed me to grow personally. And yeah, it's been really cool to be able to just be given that from day one. And you're gonna make mistakes, it's okay, but
everybody wanks.
Yeah, everybody wanks. I mean, someone just broke a chair in this podcast.
this filming session, yeah.
But yeah, just given that freedom, that was something I think, probably customers from the outside can see, but it also is internal too. Like that freedom to be who you are, to make mistakes, to bring your own culture to this, because it started with just people who know each other, and now somehow it's gone through these different shifts and brought in much different personalities, and people have changed as they said too, but there's a lot of just continuity from beginning to end there.
I think Ben always says, I don't want to be your boss. And he says it with a sense of disgust. Like he really doesn't want to tell you what to do or be your boss until he does. But and
until you aren't doing what he's wanting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it has a threshold. But I think from day one, that with my role, it's I don't want to be your boss. And the company probably trusted me. I don't know. Sometimes I think too much. I'm like, all right, I'll figure it out. And that sense of acceptance, be all right, well, now you have to go figure it out. You're not. I remember trying to ask Ben a question about exchanges or something, and you just go, "That's all I'm going to give you," and it was not helpful at all. It was basically, "I need you to go figure that out," and I was just like, "Oh, okay." I won't. That's. It was week 2, and so that has been fun. I think then there's the weird. So there's kind of here's your responsibility, here's your role, go make the company, go do your thing, because we have this brand. We're still going to be on the forefront of the brand. We've been doing it for now 20 years, but we need to go do that. And then some of that kind of gets seeped into. So occasionally they're like, "Hey John, now you're in front of the camera." It's I didn't sign up to be in front of the camera.
Yeah.
You're in front of the camera. You're going to be a brand now. You're like, okay. So Ben's in Whitefish, so now I need to be. I'm not a one-take wonder.
Yeah.
But
Well.
Yeah. Well, he talks about how he is all the time.
I think a big part of the marketing and the brand storytelling with Icelantic has always been about the people.
Yes.
And that's been so clear in the foundation that Gen 1 has set. And then with the step backs, it's okay, well, we still need this authenticity. We still need this storytelling. Can we make it happen? And
I was supposed to be a back room guy. You guys put me in front of room.
No, you're front
But
room.
you kill Instagram Cowboy John.
Yeah.
And so much more than that, of course. But yeah, I mean, I think it's been such a core piece that we can't lose as a company.
But I think some of that comes with our overlap with the Gen 1 gang. I think Free Skier Magazine weeks, for example, I remember dying inside printing the labels for all of our sample skis on this really slow Dymo label printer. She's going, one label, 2 labels. And I've got to do this for like 10,000 skis. Third label, I'm like, okay, this is my nightmare. I'm wrapping them around, and Anna just comes around the corner. She's like, what are you doing? I was like, got labels literally wrapped around me. I look like out of Office Space. And I was like, I'm going to Aspen. Because Free Skier Magazine was happening in Aspen. And I remember I get out to Aspen with Ashley and Scotty, and I get to share a bed with with Ashley at the time. I chose the bigger man to share a bed with. That was good. And
They weren't sharing together. They
actually had 2 beds this time. I know, but until I
revisit that budget.
So I got out to Aspen.
You get punched or peed on.
Oh my god.
That's largely because we didn't sleep. And just like seeing their experience there, I was like, well, I got to keep up. And so my experience there was to be like, okay, Icelantic is here to win this week. So we are going to win this week. And I remember it's the last night of Free Skier, which means we're going to have a rager. And so we're raging. And I don't know, check my watch. I'm like, oh man, it's 5 a.m. But I'm here playing Jenga. I'm one of the last people standing, and Icelantic has to win the week. So I will be the last one standing.
Yeah.
And I remember it's about 7 a.m. Me and some now dear friends of mine, Sam Taggart and Gunter, we're just like playing Jenga, FaceTime some friends. We're like, oh my gosh, we're wishing people good morning. This is great. It's like, all right, it's time to go to bed. So I go to bed, and I get woken up about 15 minutes later. It's like, hey, we need to drive to Silverton. Because Ashley had put together this awesome sales winners. If you sold the most skis at a wholesale environment, you get to come heli skiing with us in Silverton. So I was like, awesome. We're in Aspen right now. I've slept for 15 minutes, and I get to drive our team down to Silverton. And I was the designated driver. I don't know how I got signed up for the designated driver.
Because you're responsible,
Ashley
John.
and Scotty. So I'm driving Scotty and Anna Tedesco, who I met that week, who is now a dear, beloved athlete, ambassador for us, and like a little sister to me. And we're just driving to Silverton for what would be the worst skiing of my life. It was absolute survival skiing, but we had to be so enthusiastic with these sales winners and convince them that this is the best. The heli never win. We are skiing reef frozen coral reef on the lowest snow year recorded in Silverton. But I had no voice. I literally could not speak. But we were going to be so enthusiastic for those people. And like that kind of energy of being like, hey, we're still going to make this worth it, has like very much bled in from the Gen 1 team and say, hey, this is an experience. You're with the Icelantic experience. You're part of the greater family now. Come hang out with us, has bled into what we now are like, we are going to drive this experience to the point where they walk in the retail store, they see Amanda. We throw events that Hanna puts on, Ashley shows a lot of face at. Boom, here we are. When Sean's, doing all of the customer service very efficiently, might I add, like they get an incredible experience and they feel like we're part of the family. I used to sign the Icelantic emails like, hey, welcome to the family. Hey, so glad you're part of the family when I was doing customer service. It's just been very much a part of like what the brand is. Like, hey, we sell a product called skis, and we want to make sure that product is awesome. We want to make sure that product is unique. Thank you, Travis Parr. And we also want you to be a part of what's happening here. And that was how the brand started and how we have continued to lean into the brand. We have something you're going to like, and we have people you're going to love.
And join us to be part of something, come.
We don't know what it is exactly, but you're a part of it.
You're invited. Welcome to the club.
The program.
You're on the program.
I was joking earlier that like the first 2 segments of this whole thing, skis were hardly talked about. And I feel like Gen 2 might be like, we're a ski company.
True.
You're right. Just a reminder.
I would say like that's been my biggest piece is like,
absolutely,
we sell skis. We need to make sure we sell skis, and we need to make sure those skis are damn good. And
I think there's an argument to be made though that if Gen 1 or kind of like the initial days had tried to just be a ski company and just make skis and make skis like everybody else was making them, I don't think Icelantic would exist.
The shaman wouldn't exist.
The surface area is king. The short skis, weirdness, like, I mean, but and
Scotty
so much
Vimeras
more
wouldn't be
than
on the
that.
team.
Like,
Scout enjoyer.
The eyeball skis.
yeah, there. You know, there's if Icelantic had been just trying to make it as a ski company.
Or just copying the playbook of someone else.
Yeah. So I think that's really important for all of us to remember. Just continue as we continue to grow and face the current economic, difficulties and whatever.
So you're saying
there
we
is.
should bring back the boots. Is that what?
I mean,
We're a boot company.
We're already working on bringing Wintersteiger back. So.
Yeah.
but it's all this been this beautiful flow and balance of okay, let's bring experiences back. Let's focus. Let's redo the Nomad. Now's the time. It's been this evolving river. I don't know. It's been very cool.
Somehow have timed it really well without too much foresight into what's going to happen.
We're good guessers.
We're really good guessers.
And sometimes we're bad guessers, but generally we're good
Generally
guessers.
we're doing a good job.
But we guess.
Yeah,
Yes.
but we guess. And you help us guess less a lot. Yeah.